Hey guys, if you are coming from my video of me talking about things I've learned in my year of being qualified, yes, I'm in the same outfit. Today is a filming day, but I wanted to make this video much sooner. I didn't mean to leave it this long for you guys, but I wanted to talk about how I found this transition from being a student to being a qualified professional. As I just said, I've been qualified for a year now. If you're new here, I did my master's at the University of Birmingham and graduated in 2023. My last placement was in July of 2023, and then I started working in September. So yeah, that's where I am now. I just wanted to touch on a little bit about how I found things and support and etc. and how things have been with that transition, because I know it's not easy for everybody and sometimes we struggle with little things. So I thought I'd reach out to you guys and let you know how I found it and things that have helped me along the way. So popping right into it. Uni was uni, you know what I mean? Like, if you don't know, go back and check the videos. I don't want to think too much about uni stuff, but uni was uni. And one thing I would say I'm like really happy I did, I mean, this isn't something everybody can do, it may be for financial reasons or just general timing reasons. I'm really glad that I took a break to travel. Like, I just took a holiday, even if it's 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month. Take a break in between graduating and starting work. Because once you start work, and you've got to like obviously start requesting for the time off and everything, it's a little ghetto, I'm not gonna lie, it's a little ghetto. Like, this summer, I've been on one holiday, and inside it hurts. Because I'm a person, like, not to be like, I'm a person who loves to travel, like, and I'm always on holiday. But I'm a person who loves to travel, and I always like to be on a holiday. And the amount of holidays I've taken this year in comparison to the holidays I've taken last year hurt my soul. Like, to be honest with you. So I'm very glad that I knew things would have to change the moment I started working. And I took a big break in between. So I went to Canada for 3 weeks, loved it, explored, you know, checked out some of the West Coast, not some of the West Coast, checked out Seattle, got engaged. It was like lovely, a great time. It was a nice time, so I came back refreshed. I didn't come back stressed because I just finished placement, you know, the Friday before, and Monday's my first day, and I'm like, stressed, like, you know what I mean? I was able to relax, come, you know, start job, zen, all that kind of stuff. So it was nice. I would definitely recommend that you take a break in between. It helps with the transition, in my opinion. I think the thing that did worry me about the fact that I was taking a trip before, I mean, it would have worried me a bit more if the trip was longer, but I understand when people are like, I'm worried that I'm going to forget some of the knowledge if I take this break. If I don't just hit the floor running and then take a holiday, how do I know I'm going to retain everything? Just trust yourself. Trust you're going to breathe. You know, you're going to know everything that you need to know. So that's one big thing I would say, like, help with that transition and everything. Another thing I would say is, like, being really real with yourself, being really honest with yourself about things that you don't know. Like, I brag on about this all the time, but like, be very honest about things that you don't know. When someone asks, hey, do you know blah blah blah? If you don't, just be like, hey, I think I've heard of it in uni, but I don't know it specifically, or I don't know enough about it to feel comfortable to lead the session. People appreciate that. Like, just be really honest about it. So that was like something that helped me, being really honest from the jump about like what I didn't know, what I do know, what I was comfortable doing, what I wasn't necessarily comfortable doing as of yet. I think it was a good thing. It didn't mean that I was shutting down opportunities, but it just meant that I was real about things. So that really helped with my transition of becoming a qualified from a student. When I started, I know everyone's like different. Every trust is different, every ward, everything's different. So there's no like set blueprint of how you will transition into being a, you know, starting your job, or how you will transition into being the 5. I have friends who, when they started their job, it was very much like, you shadow for the first 2 weeks, or you shadow for the month, and it's like blah 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 blah. Or it's like, you don't see patients on your own until, like, you know what I mean? Whereas it wasn't necessarily like that for myself, and I'm not like, I loved it. I absolutely loved that. It wasn't like that for myself. It was great being able to just dive into it. I'm very much a single swim kind of thing. type of person. So I think being honest again about how you learn best and what type of support you need is nice knowing. I feel like once you've gone through unis, whether that be a 2-year, 3-year, 4-year, etc. duration of uni, you should know by now how you work best and what helps you flourish. And yeah, it helps to just say, hey, this helps me flourish. So that helped me with the transition as well. Another thing I think that helped me with the transition is like just trying to, like, you have to, it's harder to say, like, it's easier said than done basically. Have confidence in your own abilities. You got the job for a reason. They have confidence in you, have that confidence in yourself. I think like when I started, the things that I found a bit, I never had like imposter syndrome of like in the case of feeling like I don't belong and like how am I meant to fit in here kind of thing. I had more of a, it was strange, like the different angle of questioning I received with certain decisions. Like I felt like when I was a student I'd get questioned a bit more on decisions, like no one would take my word for gospel to an extent. Whereas once I was qualified, obviously people were like, oh yeah, she knows what she's talking about. And I had like the 1 or 2 cases where I was questioned and I was kind of like, you're questioning me a bit more than I ever used to experience, like what's happening here. And it wasn't like a, oh, you've made like a clinical error or like clinical judgment was off. It was just more like, I don't know, the angle just wasn't for me. But it's like little things like that you really, like you may encounter initially with that transition. It was very strange. I remember a thing that like that made me like really interested. I think, how was it? I think maybe my first day or something when I was on the ward. I remember writing a set of notes and then like going to one of my seniors and going, hey, can you countersign? And they were like, right, you're qualified. And me, oh yeah, I forgot. Sorry. Yeah, I can sign these. Like, because just out of habit as a student, you're always like, hey, can you sign these for me? Like, I felt like I was always chasing educators, being like, hey, can you proofread and sign my notes, please? Thank you. Like that. So not having to do that anymore was like really nice. Another good thing that I found that really helped me with the transition of like from student to qualified is that I started at the same time as another 5. So we were like, there was an understanding, you know, we're in the same boat. I think it's really important to understand that you're not the only person who's experiencing this transition and that everybody goes through it and that everybody handles it differently. But it's just nice having that support system with someone there, and it was like nice knowing that I could approach my seniors as well, and I still can approach my seniors if I do need anything to help me with any transition in like whether it's a new role, new ward or anything like that. Just knowing that there's people out there who can support you is very helpful, and it helped a ton. It's also, I think, one thing that like looking back now, like I know it would have been easier to film this at the time, but like looking back now, when I see students come and like shadow or like work experience students come on, I think it's easier to support them in terms of giving them like advice because I was recently in their shoes. It's like I was there once, you know what I mean? It's really nice to think about. And I think, yeah, but I'd say depending on the area and depending on like what you need to feel comfortable, you should settle in pretty quickly, pretty easily. If you feel like you're not, I would say definitely speak to your supervisor and just be honest. Supervisions, oh my god, I loved my supervisions. Like, there's something that you always have, and you know, you could have them every 2 weeks, every month, or whatever you feel like you need to feel supported and everything. But like, I feel like sometimes it can potentially be easy to fall into the trap of just discussing predominantly work when you're having those supervisions. But I also like discuss things that were going on outside of work, and because especially if there were things that may impact work, like may impact my sleep, may impact my mood, may impact anything, I'd always talk about them. So I was very transparent with things as well, and I think that was like really helpful. It also helps you build those relationships at work as well, so then you feel either more supported with that transition over. Good things that like loads of places do is obviously like those pre-work packs, or whether they have like those pre-rotation packs. So that helps with you're aware of like the knowledge that you need. That helped me a lot as well. And then also knowing certain things that are like common in terms of like, it's common that if you work in the NHS, many, I think all, I want to say all trusts, I'm just going to say many trusts they have a, what they call preceptorship. And that helps you with the transition from being a student to being a qualified professional, and it's a year-long program. I've now completed mine. But in mine I had classes, about like 4 classes to attend. It was like an MDT classes. So I was like with nursing students, well not students, sorry. I was with nurses, I was with midwives, and we're all like, you know, in that transition period we did some classes. We learned things like well-being techniques, how to complete certain reports, where to report certain things, like the freedom to speak up stuff, like certain things that like, I'm not saying you would never find them out because you would, but like it's just nice having that there to find them out. And then also we had like a competencies booklet that I had to complete. So then it was like key stuff that you would need to know, like what's it called, levels of oxygen therapy, let's say, or need to know like when it's appropriate to do this and that, like little competencies you could tick off. So then you know, like as you're ticking them off, you know you're achieving what you need to achieve to have the job. You know, I think that's like really nice to have that physical thing. So it's not like a case of, am I doing good, or am I the, especially if you're a person like myself who's not really great at seeking feedback. Yeah, it's a bit awkward sometimes. I find it a little easier now than I did then, but it's nice having like that evidence and everything. And then when you finish preceptorship and you submit all your evidence and all your proof, be like, I did this and I did that. It's always like nice to reflect on and see how far you've come as well. But as you could tell, I didn't find the transition too bad. And my big thing is, don't be too hard on yourself and back yourself in terms of have the confidence, have the honesty, don't be too harsh on yourself, and I think you will flourish and you will get on well. But let me know how you found the transition, whether you found it easy, whether you found it like difficult or whether, and you know, you can always reach out to me on my Instagram account that is down below, and I will see you guys in another video. Bye guys.